Having done the Perfume Library perfume, so that's the black label perfumes from Lush, I wanted to make sure I did the standard perfumes as well, or at least all the ones that I know well enough to talk about, because these are the ones that you can get in all Lush stores. They're also the ones that are the most affordable. They're really good because you can get them in 30 mils and not just the 100 mils, which for some reason is what they've done with the more expensive perfumes. So I've had some of these for ages. I've known some of them for ages. A few of them I bought quite recently because I've been smelling them for ages and I knew I was going to do this video, and I thought, right, now is the time to just get all of the ones that I actually wanted, which was a few, so, but not tons. Very sensible. Sun is the one I'm going to start with, because the way I'll go through these standard label ones so that I can talk to you about the ones I don't have as well, are by how much they cost, because I kind of just assumed that everything in the standard Lush perfume label were just £30 for 30ml and 50 for 100, but actually there are a few that are £20, a few that are 25, some that are 30, so they kind of do fluctuate slightly, and actually so do the body sprays, and I'll do a body spray one next time. So I'd say that some of the standard label ones are quite approachable. They're really quite easy to wear. Some of them are a bit more complicated. They're a bit closer to the complexity of the black label ones, which you really have to spray and then just let dry down before you really know how they're going to smell. There's definitely a few here in the standard label that is the case for, and then there's others which you sort of get an idea pretty quickly what they're going to smell like. So if we start with Sun, I've had this one for ages. This one's way past its sell by, but it still smells amazing. So this used to be a much brighter colour. It's actually faded, and I think that's because there's so much citrus in this. So this has faded with age. It was actually quite a sunny colour. So this is in the 20 range. There's three that I know that are £20. So Sun is Brazilian orange, mimosa and sandalwood. It's a pure, bright, juicy orange. It's like naturally fructosey sweet. There's no sickliness, no unnatural sweetness. It's just a brilliant summer freshie, and it really is. Ooh, yep. You do get a bit of mimosa. And you do get a bit of the classic Lush sandalwood, but in the main, it just smells like oranges. It smells like juicy orange juice with a little bit of the peel, but not too much of the pith. There's not much bitterness going on here. It's just a perfectly lovely orange scent. Now, if you don't want to smell like freshly squeezed orange juice, which I think a lot of people wouldn't, then this probably wouldn't be for you. But if you know you like a natural smelling orange, I don't think there's many perfumes on the market that smell as good as Sun for that reason. I've tried a few, so I've had like Aqua Colonia, for instance, from 4711. I've tried their Mandarin and their Blood Orange. One's got cardamom, I think, or some kind of spice, and the other's got another spice or a herb, basil, I think. And those tend to lean a little bit masculine on me because of those, even though they're so juicy and lovely. But I think Sun is a kind of purer, natural orange smell. It's so pretty, and it would be so good for like festivals and all that kind of thing if you just want to smell fresh, clean. It's just beautiful. Really wake you up in the morning as well. It's a really, really pretty Sun. So that's Sun. So I'll just quickly mention Pansy. Pansy is a more kind of floral perfume, and it's not one that I get on with very well. I find that one to be a little bit sickly. I think there's something in the same way that Rose Jam can be a little bit sickly to me. So Pansy is rosemary, orange blossom, oak moss, tonka and galbanum. Fragrantica lists blackberry, but Lush doesn't, so I assume that that's maybe not correct. And I don't find this particularly to be massively fruity. As much as I like rosemary, and I do really like rosemary, I don't particularly like orange blossom. And because that's the dominant note in Pansy, it just doesn't quite work for me. And it's very green, herbaceous, like bitter when you first spray it, like really, really herbaceous and bitter, very, very green. it dries down and becomes slightly sickly to me, and I do find that sometimes with Orange Blossom. Just generally, I think it can be quite difficult to wear for me personally. Same with like Neroli, which is obviously an even more bitter version of Orange Blossom. So yeah, it's not for me personally, but I think lots of people still like that one. Okay, so let's move on to one that I got really recently and I'm super, super excited about for summer. So, this here is Junk. This has also quite a pale colour to it, super pretty. Junk, which is a very funny name and it doesn't necessarily make much sense because it's a very fresh and clean smell, this one. But Lush do like to give their things silly names. So, Junk is lemon, rosemary, sage and mandarin. And somehow that concoction smells like blackcurrant. It's pretty much the same situation that you have with, I think it's Plum Rain. So I'll talk about that in the body spray one. There's something about the Lush Mandarin when it's mixed with other things that really kind of, for some reason, just give it a kind of blackcurranty smell or like a plummy smell, like a fruity like smell that is more of a berry than mandarin. I don't know quite how that works. It's super awesome. But so it's really beautiful Junk. It's juicy, slightly herbal, and if you know what the Comforter body spray smells like, it's got a similar sugary and juicy blackcurrant, but without that creamy sweetness in the dry down, and that's the bit I struggle with in the Comforter. Junk is kind of more, it's almost, if you can imagine, dirty, if you know what dirty smells like, that kind of fresh herby mintiness. Let's spray this on my skin, mixed with the Comforter. Then, oh my goodness, it's such an intense blackcurranty smell. It's like Ribena, but it has this kind of herbal base that smells really fresh, clean. Again, a little bit, I don't know, maybe if you've just cleaned your teeth or something. But what I will say is that I think that the rosemary and the sage, I think those herb notes really start to die down quite a lot when you've been wearing this for a little while. And I don't think it remains like smelling kind of slightly herbal and slightly medicinal, I think you could say. I think it just dries down to smell like quite an interesting and very bright blackcurrant, and it stays quite zingy and fruity. So it's so pretty, it's so fresh. But if you don't like a kind of almost, I mean, it's almost minty. That's just what it is. It's almost minty. If you don't like a kind of minty perfume and you're happy to have a kind of slightly more vanillary dry down, then the Comforter body spray is a really good alternative to Lush. But for me, I've got the Comforter. That one, because of that sweet dry down, I don't love it. Junk is a good alternative for me to the Comforter, if that makes sense. So I also have a Brocard perfume called Blackcurrant and Mint, and that's really difficult to get hold of, but I think that Junk is quite reminiscent of that one. They like all the sense of nature, because they're Russian perfumes, they're hard to get hold of, but I do think that it's very, very reminiscent, because I think that the herbs in this give it that kind of minty vibe when mixed with that lemon. So yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely delicious. Oh, I can't wait to be wearing that one in summer. That's really, really yummy. So that's all the £20 ones. So if we move on to the £25. Oh, this is a classic. If you like sweet perfumes and you like iris and violets, then American Cream is an excellent choice for you. So American Cream it smells like Lush. I mean, that's the thing. If you don't like the smell of a Lush shop, then American Cream would not be a good idea for you. But if you do like the smell of a Lush shop, American Cream is going to be a classic. If you've tried the conditioner of this one, this smells quite a lot like that, you know? So I love it. But they talk about this as a strawberry milkshake. Lots of people describe it as a strawberry milkshake on Fragrantica. They even list strawberry in the notes. But I don't think that's what this smells like at all. I don't think it smells milky. I don't think it smells like a milkshake. I don't really think it smells like strawberry. It's definitely got some kind of sweet fruitiness to it, but I don't I don't think that's in any way the dominant note that's going on here. I would say American Cream is an unusual creamy vanilla scent. So it's like candied flowers, if that makes sense. It's ever so slightly chalky. I know that sounds crazy, but I think that's just my first impression. And the actual ingredients are vanilla, clary sage, benzoin, lavender, tonka, anise, geraniol, which is kind of like a citrusy rose kind of smell, benzyl, benzoate, which is like a faint balsamic, that you get in like ylang ylang and rosewood and cinnamon. You get powdery, woody, floral notes similar to violet and iris. So I think realistically, this is like violet, lavender, iris, vanilla with a hint of aromatic herbs and a little tiny bit of citrus that gives it that slight fruitiness. The dry down is like super tonka heavy, and that's why it's so beautiful, because I would say if you can imagine candied violets and candied rose with some powdery iris on top of a fondant icing sprinkled with icing sugar. I think that's what this smells like. And it's so girly, so pretty. It smells pink. Obviously the juice isn't pink because Lush make things with quite natural ingredients. So this one, it's like they're getting darker slowly but surely. It's so sweet and tasty. I mean, we're not talking like Kayali, Yum Pistachio levels of sweet, or, Cloud or Ariana Grande sweet like candy. It's not that kind of sweet. But for me, this is pretty sweet. And for Lush, it's one of their sweetest perfumes, definitely. So I think it's really approachable. I think it's one of the most wearable. I also think it's one of the perfumes in Lush that smells... It pretty much smells the same the whole way through. It gets more kind of tonkery and gentle and less powdery as it dries down, and really kind of settles into that icing, kind of fondant icing kind of scent. And the Lush tonka is so delicious. It's so, so beautiful. So I think this for me is a little bit more dominant in the violet than the other things. I mean, iris is quite strong. Rose is relatively low down, but this is like a gentle violet perfume, I would say. And Lush has a few other violets that are in the perfume library, but I think American Cream would be the safest blind buy, honestly. Like, I think it's a really easy one to wear. Then we also have, let's have a look. If I go through some other things. So I was speaking about Dirty earlier, when I was talking about junk. I love Dirty. Dirty is a fabulous perfume. The only reason I don't have it is because I have an Aqua Colonia from 4711 called White Mint and Lychee. And that is a really good summery minty perfume. It's like a cologne spray. So I never really bought Dirty because it gives me the same kind of feel, but I won't lie. I want Dirty. If I ever see it for a steal, I mean, it's only 25 quid to be fair, but I don't really need to spend £25 on something that I probably won't wear very often. But if I see it for an absolute bargain on eBay, I will snap it up. And I buy quite a lot of Lush perfumes on eBay. So Dirty is spearmint, neroli, sandalwood, tonka, oak moss, tarragon, thyme and lavender. It's really bright, it's green, it's slightly sweetened, but it's mainly a minty perfume. Definitely when you first spray it, veers into that toothpaste territory, but it's still like really appealing, particularly in the dry down. So that kind of minty, herbal, hippie style toothpaste scent, it's cooling, it's clean, it's perfect for hot weather. Again, another one that would be amazing if you like had it at a festival, so you always smelled clean even though you were like absolutely filthy. I mean, I imagine that's why it's called Dirty, to be honest. It's because it's like, if you're dirty, maybe you should wear this because you'll smell clean. The dry down is where you get that sandalwood and tonka that comes up to meet the mint, and that's when it's the most beautiful. It's just really pretty when it dries down, and I think it gets more gentle. The mint's still there, like you never lose that herby freshness, but it's definitely less toothpastey as it dries down. And I find it really nice. I think my husband would smell beautiful in it as well. I think it's very clean, fresh, beautiful. Love Dirty. Then we also have 420. That one is a CBD perfume. It's ginger, oak moss, tonka, celery seed, pimento, patchouli and sandalwood. So it's just not my sort of perfume. It does smell very smoky. It smells a bit more like aromatherapy to me than the sort of perfume I'd want to wear. I think it leans a bit masculine, so that one I'm not mad for. Rose Jam. Rose Jam, I think I wanted it to be like a Turkish Delight perfume, but it doesn't really work very well for me in that respect, because it's like there's a lot of geranium in Rose Jam. So it does have rose, lots of rose. It's very rosy and it is a very jammy rose, but it has a really dry geranium in it. And geranium always goes a little bit urinal on me. I get this slight weird pissy smell often from geranium, and I'm not keen on that. I mean, obviously, but I'm just generally not keen on geranium. And so that one for me kind of goes very sickly sweet, but also kind of urinal at the same time. It's got this weird tone to it that doesn't sit well on my skin. I just can't really wear Rose Jam. And I would say that if you have the same problem with Rose Jam, I really recommend Keep It Fluffy from the Black Label collection, because that one has that same jammy rose in it, but it's also got like a banana-y ylang ylang. So it hasn't got that kind of geranium vibe to it, and it doesn't become sickly. It's got like more of a creamy vanillary tonka dry down than just like a sugary one. Yeah, so Rose Jam, not really for me. So Lord of Misrule, that is something that I can't really wear. It's vanilla, patchouli, black pepper, tonka and anise. I'm not entirely sure if that really describes how it smells. I always think Lord of Misrule has like almost like the smell of dirty, like that kind of minty herby smell, but on top of like a really creamy vanilla. I mean, to be fair, the perfume is definitely more. You can sense patchouli. I mean, I can't wear it because of that, because I can't wear patchouli. But it's a really unusual like green vanilla, and it's really pretty, and I really love it. But I can't wear it because of the patchouli. It's kind of earthy. It's very sweet. I think it can be a little bit masculine for some people, and I prefer the shower gel myself. It's my husband's favourite shower gel. And I think there's like this slight weird tone to it, which this is going to sound awful, but I have sometimes when I smell Lord of Misrule, I think there's a slight smell of mould, and I think that's the kind of, I mean, I'd almost guess it was like oak moss or something in there, but it's not listed. I think that's something to do with the patchouli. But yeah, I mean, it's not for me personally, but we do really like the shower gel. The shower gel I think is more vanillary. It's got more of a minty herbal tone, and it's a bit brighter and easier to deal with, I think, than the actual perfume. But very randomly I bought this. This is an Al Rehab perfume oil called Mira, and the notes, I mean, I'll read you the notes of Mira. It doesn't have any of the same notes as Lord of Misrule. It says the notes are top notes of peony, peach blossom, middle notes mandarin orange, orange blossom, Chinese osmanthus, base note cedar, vanilla and amber. But the first time I took it out and smelt it, I just was like, oh, that smells like our Lord of Misrule shower gel. And so I handed it over to my husband. I said, smell this. And he smelt it. He thought for a second. He said, oh, that smells like our green shower gel, which is Lord of Misrule. So I then gave it to him. He really loves this one. He smells amazing in this. It's like, yeah, I don't know how. It just smells like a slightly more fruity Lord of Misrule. Yeah, it's really random. But yeah, so that is Mira by Al Rehab. I'll link it down below in case you want to try it. So this is a really good alternative if you like Lord of Misrule, but if you like the shower gel, you like the kind of bright, kind of herbally, almost minty vibe that you get with that shower gel, and you like the vanilliness, but you don't really want the more hardcore earthy perfume version of that shower gel, then Mira is a really good alternative. So I just wanted to shout that out because it's really random. Then I've got one here called Shade. This is magnificent. I absolutely love this. It will be an acquired taste, but I think it's really, really good. So shade, that's the colour of it. Oh, so beautiful. This one I've been smelling for ages, and I've always been saying on my channel, it smells a little bit like Covet by Sarah Jessica Parker. I have lots of that perfume, so I don't really need shade. And then I go and try it again, and I'll be like, oh, I love it though, I love it, I want it. And then I just was like, I have to have it now. I mean, it's not expensive. It's like 25 quid. I just wanted it. I needed it because it's so lovely. So Shade is a sandalwood perfume. It also has olibanum in it. So it's got a smokiness. But just saying it's sandalwood and olibanum, it doesn't really explain how it smells very well. I mean, firstly, the Lush sandalwood is spectacular. It is like a beautiful, smooth, incredibly soft skin scent. It's like, it's your skin but better. I think there's a reason why, you know, Sensuous by Estee Lauder and you know, so many other perfumes, all the Santal ones, they're so popular as being like your skin but better kind of smells, because there's something about a really good sandalwood that doesn't smell like too much like a table, you know. It just smells so smooth and pretty. And with Lush, they often mix that kind of stuff with like a tonka base, so you get this amazing smooth sweetness. So with Shade, when you first spray it, you get the other notes that Lush don't really talk about and that aren't necessarily listed in an obvious way. So you get citrus, you get lavender, you definitely get flowers. It gives me a kind of honeysuckle kind of vibe, to be honest. And that's why I think it's so similar to Sarah Jessica Parker's Covet, because Covet is, to me, lemon, lavender, honeysuckle, and then that has a chocolate note, whereas Shade is basically like florals that remind me of honeysuckle, some kind of citrus, lavender, sandalwood. There's sandalwood in Covet as well. Oh, well, no, there isn't sandalwood, but there's another very nice wood in there. I think it's teak wood, actually. And then it has olibanum, so it just has this slight, very gentle smokiness. When you first spray it, it doesn't smell good. When you first spray it, that's when it smells like essential oils. It has like a kind of, it's a bit sharper. You get like the olibanum really in your face when you first spray it, and you kind of think, why would I want to smell like that? And then it dries down into the sweetest kind of slightly lavendery, tonka-y, beautiful kind of sweet sandalwood that you've ever smelt. It's so pretty. It's also very gentle. You'd have to massively overspray this to like be like a, you know, an explosion of perfume in a room. It's so incredibly pretty. I think Shade is so nice. I've never heard anyone talking about it before, but as soon as I got it, I wanted to wear it all the time. It's also the one I went for because I had, after I bought this, I had a day where for some reason I just was finding everything, all perfumes to smell really synthetic, all my kind of, you know, non-Lush ones, obviously. I was just like, oh no, everything smells so fake and gross and I hate it. And so I just put Shade on, and it just, oh my God, it's so comforting. If you enjoy sandalwood, and you like to wear like soothing things to bed, this would be perfect for that. It's just, I absolutely love Shade. I can't sing its praises highly enough, because I think Shade actually leans more into being one of the more kind of transitioning fragrances that you get in the perfume library. You know, it's like it doesn't end where it starts in much more of a way than any of the others that I've really talked about. But it's 25 quid, so it's a bargain. So the last one from the 25 quid ones, I think, is Vanillary. So vanilla is vanilla, jasmine, tonka. I find it sickly personally, but that's because I really do not like the mixture of jasmine and vanilla. I know that Vanillary is like a super popular perfume from Lush. If you like vanilla and you like jasmine, then this is an a very safe blind buy, I'd say. I really like the combination of the tonka with the vanilla because it gives it a beautiful creamy sweetness that isn't like Vanilla Fields style perfumey vanilla. But the mixture with the jasmine does take it away from the gourmand and into the kind of more floral vanilla. So yeah, that one, it's not for me because I don't really like jasmine. I struggle with jasmine. But speaking of jasmine, the last ones I'm going to just quickly talk about are two that I love but I can't wear personally. So, okay, Karma is one of my absolute favourites. I love the smell of Karma products. I think it's one of Lush's greatest perfumes. I think it's one of their greatest product scents. But again, it's got a lot of patchouli in it and I can't really wear patchouli. So I keep wanting to go back. I keep wanting to buy it. I've bought it quite a few times and then I've had to go back and return it or exchange it because every time I try to wear it, it just gives me a bit of a headache. I just can't wear patchouli when it's really strong, and it's a real shame. But I think personally that Karma smells a bit like it's got a cola note, and it's very orange heavy. It's got some real natural orange juice scents to it. You know, it's like if you've ever had Square Root London cola, that is a cola that's very, very strong with orange in it. That is what Karma smells like. If you imagine that mixed with a really clean hippie style patchouli and like a incense, so it's kind of like it's like a joss stick, an orange coke, and then patchouli oil. And I think it's really beautiful. I think that if I ever smell this on anyone, I absolutely love it. My mum loves the soap of this one, so it kind of also reminds me of home with her as well. I just love it. I just think Karma is such a beautiful perfume and I wish I could wear it. Instead, I just have to use the shower gel and just, enjoy it briefly while I'm in the shower and for a little while when I come out, and then I have to spray on something different because I can't wear it. And then Lust, I'm going to quote myself from my old Fragrantica review here because I just can't think of a better way to describe it. So Lust is an incredibly heady jasmine perfume, but it is, in my opinion, the greatest jasmine perfume I've ever smelt. It's one of the only jasmine perfumes that I actually genuinely wish I could wear. I have owned it before, and I've tried wearing it, but it gives me a hella headache. It does absolutely smell like the jasmine waft that comes up from the garden, like below our flat. That comes through the back window of our flat, and it just smells really beautiful. But something about the way they've done Lust, and because it's so heady, makes it so sexy. It's crazy, sexy boudoir madness. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. You've really got to love jasmine for it. And it's really very much not green. It's like, it's not quite fresh. I don't know. It's so seductive. It really is like a midnight garden with a sexy woman in that garden just smelling like heady jasmine. So I was like, it smells like jasmine draped in black satin after a steamy bath with rivulets of water making tracks down your back. That is what Lust smells like. Lust is the perfect name for it. Obviously, it's not going to be very lusty if your partner doesn't like jasmine. I don't know that my partner would particularly like this because I'm not sure he's that much of a floral perfume lover. I think he's more of a musky kind of guy, like fruity and musky. But I just think it's gorgeous. I think it's just such an amazing perfume if you like jasmine. But it will be a bit of a struggle because it's incredibly strong. You only need a tiny bit. But so Karma and Lust are both £30. So it does seem to be divided up. So it's £30 for a 30ml and 60 for 100ml, which of something like Lust is incredible because that will last you probably a lifetime unless you wear it every day. And then the last ones I was talking about were 25 for a 30ml and then 50 for a 100ml. The Sun, the Junk and the Pansy were 20 for 30ml and then 40 for 100. So they're all super affordable perfumes, these ones. I think they're absolutely awesome. I really do love them. I love the little perfume that you can get from Lush. I think that they're incredibly good value. I think that they're perfect for people who don't like too much sort of chemically perfumes. I think some things are really good for, shade, for instance, is great if you work somewhere where you're not supposed to wear loads of strong perfumes. I think it's a fabulous kind of skin scent kind of perfume. And as I said, American Cream, it smells like a sweet Lush shop. Absolutely delicious, super easy to wear, dries down beautifully. I just love Lush. So anything else that I get from Lush, I'll have to just kind of do their own reviews of. But I have a nice little collection. I'm loving all the Lush perfumes, and I hope this was helpful to anyone who's interested in them.